live YouTube,
All right.
which it's only taken a second or two. So,
Okay. Well, I invited 12 people, so
all right, we are live. We
we
are
are
live on YouTube.
live. Okay, here we
So,
go. We gotta get started because we are live. All right.
Recording in progress.
Just want to say good afternoon to those of us who are here, and again, mentioning the purpose for us being on Hot Topics on tonight. And every night is every other Friday. Just want to thank God that He gave me this vision, and I have a big even win. When He gave this vision to me, I know a lot of people doubted it, but that's okay because even when people doubt you, you have to keep going. Even if and even when you have to walk it alone. So
mhm.
often we're afraid of walking it alone. But whenever God gives you a vision, He does not have a conference call. I believe when we get that understanding, we're going to do better. We're going to be better. And we will reach our potential. I made a post today. All you have to do is jump. Jump. What do I mean by that? You have to chase your dreams no matter who's against you, no matter who disagrees with you. You have to chase your dreams. You are not going to please everybody. Everybody's not going to walk lockstep with you in what it is that you're trying to do. And anybody that you have lived to witness to make it in life, they had opposition. So all of us will have opposition whenever we're working on our goals, our vision, our purpose, because that was given to you. It wasn't given to everybody else, and that's why people can't understand it. And you have to say, even when they don't support me, I'm going to keep going. That's a big deal to me. Even when is a big deal to me. So that's our subject title on tonight, Jackie and Elisha. And we're going to have a dynamic
And Shirley,
come, and
Shirley's here too.
Shirley, yes, and Shirley. We're going to have a dynamic conversation about even win, because we'll get to talk about our even win. And Elisha, I know this is your first time at the Zoom roundtable, and basically what it is, it's just having a conversation, and everybody has their own views. That's the beauty of it,
And
okay?
that's okay.
And it's
It's
okay.
okay.
Everybody don't have to agree with your view. Or my, it's to
You
create
don't have to agree with
dialogue,
everybody
and you
else.
don't have to agree with everybody else. So that's
I,
one of
I got
my
a big
even
even
wins.
win.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I got a big even win. When I was um 39 years old.
Uh huh.
Yeah, let me go back. When I
Okay.
was 23 years old, I got very sick. I was in
Mm.
college
Mm-hmm.
and I had to drop out of college.
Okay.
And I had every intention. I was diagnosed with a disease called Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. I was in and out of the hospital, and I just could not continue with college. I got so far behind. So I dropped out, and I had every intention of taking a year off and going back. But I was not one, like I know Electra was not one. There was nobody paying for my college but me. It was just me.
Yeah.
And I had taken loans out to go to college. And so if you aren't enrolled in college after 6 months, you have to start paying those loans back. And so I started paying the loans back, and I kept telling myself next year, I'll go back next year. But that was when I was 23. Well, I was 39, and I said to myself, the I want to get my college degree. I
Yes.
want I even when. And so the company I was working for had gone bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I had moved back to Houston. I was living in Austin. The company went bankrupt. I moved back to Houston and I went to work for a temp agency because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But
Uh-huh.
in the back of my mind, I did know what I wanted to do.
Yes.
I have all had it bothered me. And I'm not saying that a college degree is the be all and end all. If
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to you, that's fine.
Yeah.
Go about your life another way. Do technical training, do whatever you want to do. But to me, that really was what defined me as saying I failed, is that I
Yes.
did not ever go back to college.
Yes.
So when I was 39 years old, I decided to go back to college
Uh-huh.
and and I decided I could have done all the things people do, go part time, take an evening class, but I
Mm-hmm.
had tried that over the years and it just didn't
Yes.
work for me.
Yes.
So I quit my job
Uh-huh.
and went back to school full time.
So right.
And then I went and I got 3 part-time jobs,
Uh-huh.
the kind of thing you do when you're a student,
Right.
because it matter even when everyone around me was saying, you've already had a successful career. I had worked for 20 years for AT&T Wireless as a customer service representative.
Mm-hmm.
On your cell phone when you dial 611
Yes.
and you supposedly get a helpful person, it's not always a helpful person. Well, when it was me, it was always a helpful person.
Yes.
That's who I worked for 20 years. But I could not move up in the company because I did not have a degree.
Yeah.
And they continually told me, well, you can't apply for that job. You can be a trainer. I was a trainer. I traveled all over the Southwest region training customer service reps for the company. But
Mm-hmm.
officially I was not a trainer. I was not getting the pay of a trainer because I did not have a college degree, a
Yes.
4-year degree.
Yes.
And so I wanted to go back. And I quit and my father, my mother had passed away already, and my father was living with me, and he was like, well, that's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Why
Mm-hmm.
are you doing this? You don't need to do that.
Yes.
And I felt like I was always have to take deep breaths, because I want to be respectful to my dad. But you know even when
Even when.
nobody else, and I went back to college. I found the career that I loved, and I went and I got a master's degree and a graduate certificate.
Yes.
And I was able to continue the work that I loved and become what I really wanted to become, which
Yes.
was an author. I was able to do the job that I love to do
Mm-hmm.
and then carry forward. And now I'm a writer.
Yes.
Even when
Even
everyone in
when.
my family and everyone of my friends was saying, you are 40 years old. And I say that I was 39 years old because um, classes start on August 28th and my birthday is September 10th. So I was 39. I went back to college before I was 40,
Yes.
39. Now, only by 10 days, but I went back before I was 40, darn it.
Yes. Yes.
And was a big, even when,
Even
I mean,
when.
there were times that, there was no money for the groceries, and but I always found a way. I always found a way because it was just one thing that, to me, it was the one thing that defined me in my life as a failure, was that I had not finished that college degree.
Yes.
And that's not true for everybody. Everybody doesn't need to finish that. Everybody's even win is different. But for me, that was my even win. And I finished my bachelor's, I finished a master's, and I finished a graduate certificate. And then I got very ill, and you know,
Yeah.
things had to change in my life, but it didn't matter. I wasn't getting that degree or those degrees because of some external force that said, if you don't do this, you're failed. It was my own self.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't matter that I got sick and had to retire early.
Yeah.
I needed those degrees. I needed them for my own self worth.
Yeah.
And
And
and it has made a difference in my life.
yeah. That's because you walk through that even when.
I
And
did.
people, I think, to me, every word in life makes a difference. If people would
Hmm.
recognize that, they wouldn't feel so downtrodden all the time. Every
Hmm.
word that has been created in life has a meaning. And how are you going to benefit from those words? Alicia, Retta, thank y'all for being on. Y'all want to chime in? Can they hear us?
Can you guys
I would
hear?
chime in.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you say something, Retta? Yes, that's okay. Well, I have my even win as well.
Okay.
It was something similar, pertaining to school. Um, just a few years ago, I had wanted to. I was working at the hospital as a medical assistant, and I had saw a community health worker position. Um, and at that time, I didn't know what a community health worker was. So I looked up the description and I said, okay, this is maybe something that I could do. Um, so I saw a class online that was offering community health worker
Uh huh.
course, but the you could I could have took the course for free, but you had to have credentials already, and one of them was that you would have to be already working in the hospital. You would have to be interacting with the public and interacting, know how to have those customer service, I guess, skills to be able to work in the community. You had to know how to communicate. And I
Mm-hmm.
said to myself, I said, well, I already know how to do that. I'm already working in the hospital, but I couldn't take the class because my boss, they were giving me a hard time with filling out the paperwork.
Yes.
So by the time he decided to go ahead and do the paperwork, the class had already shut down. They were no longer offering the class.
Uh huh.
So I got discouraged a little bit, and I said, "It's okay." I said, "It'll be another day when it'll come open." I didn't know it was going to be years later, but
It's
it wound
okay.
up coming.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I myself was at one point in time. I myself was in and out of college. I went to college, and then being younger, I went to college, and then I stopped, and went to college again. I stopped. It wasn't until um, I started working. It was about 2 years ago, and I said, you know what? I said, this time when I go to school, I'm gonna finish. I
Yes.
said, I have my girls, I have things that I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and this time, if anything stops me, it's because of me. So I went in. I got up after my girls went to school. I said, I'm going to go enroll in college today. I went to HCC. I sat down. I talked with a counselor, and he said, "You seem like you're ready to go." I said, "I'm ready." I enrolled in school while working at the hospital during the pandemic. It was very, very, very hard,
Hmm.
because during the pandemic we had to gown up, we had to wear these big shields. So I was working, and then I was working overnight. I would go into work at 5:45 in the evening and get off at 6:15 in the morning. And it would be days that I would have to, even during COVID, I would still have to take my laptop and go to work, and still turn my work in. I was tired because I had to come home. I had to cook dinner for the kids. I had to make sure they were okay in school. I had to make sure the household was okay. Make sure, taking stress from the job. So it was really hard. But I was determined. I
Mm-hmm.
was determined to finish school. So um, also during the pandemic, a mental health license opportunity came up. I did it. I got it. I finished. I got that certification, and it gave me a boost. I
Yeah.
felt like, oh yeah, I started getting in my groove. I said, here, there I go, there I go.
Yeah.
Then my community health worker chance came up again. through one of my friends. She said, "Oh, she said, I go to this school. I'm taking this medical assistant course." And she said, maybe, and she said the classes are free. She said maybe you should come in and see what you want to do. I said, "Well, no, I'm already a medical assistant. I don't want to do that." And she was like, "Well, I'm going to give you the number to the advisor because we have some more classes that they're offering." So I called her, and she said, "We have a community health worker license available."
Uh-huh.
And I said, "This is the same license that a couple of years ago
Yeah.
it failed. I couldn't do it."
Yeah.
So I immediately jumped on it. But then I took some steps back. I said, "Will I be able to get an associate's degree and get a certificate in the same year?"
Yeah.
I made up my mind. I said, "I'm going to do it." I made up my mind. I said, "I'm going to finish this community health worker class, and I'm going to get my associate's degree like I said I was going to do."
Mm-hmm.
I started having problems towards the end of the semester, which was my last semester to gain all my credits. At that time, I was taking a psychology class and I was taking a history class, and I was starting to get stressed out because it was so much reading. It was just so much.
Yeah.
And one of my coworkers, she said, "Well, why did you take psychology and history?" She said, "You're not going to pass those classes." And I just looked at her and I didn't say anything. I wanted to say something, but I didn't. And in my head, that was more motivation for me to keep on. Okay, well, I'm gonna finish. So, long story short, I wound up passing the last two classes that I needed. I
Mm-hmm.
passed those classes, and I graduated with my associate's degree. I finished my community health care worker course.
Yes.
Um, and last year in November, my teacher, she felt like I was a good fit for a job. And little did I know she had some pull in some areas, and she got me my community health worker job, and I left the hospital,
Well, that's a good thing.
and I love what I do now,
Mm-hmm.
and I've made more money. I'm making more money now, and it's an awesome feeling. So even when I had so many odds stacked against me, even when I would come home and be stressed out,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still push through. But also it's in I think our even win is you really have to want to do something. If you
Yeah.
really really
Even
want to do
when.
something, nothing's going to be
Even
able
when.
to stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. And it's
Well,
a great feeling.
yeah.
Great feeling.
Great.
Aisha, can I ask you? I don't know exactly what a community health worker is. What does that job entail?
Well, as a community health worker, we go out into the communities. We provide resources for the community. We break down things that some of the community members don't understand, as far as your insurance, what is a premium, what is the deductible. We
Mm,
also provide them resources as far as if they don't know where to go to, or if their insurance
got it.
takes,
Got
if they don't know,
it.
we're out in the community, in the field, giving that information. And currently, I'm working on a health disparities project. So I'm going into the community, bringing awareness, COVID awareness. We're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get a hold of this monkeypox to see,
Mm-hmm.
it's
It's just
yeah,
a
it's a
Yeah.
lot.
lot of work,
Yeah.
but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
enjoy
get
it.
it.
Okay. Retta, can you
Thank
jump
you,
in
Rita.
there? Retta.
I just put a remark. I'm sorry. I'm looking all around y'all because in the
Parking lot
I'm in
look
the
like.
park, I'm in the parking lot. My daughter pick her up, walk up there and get her at 8:30. But anyways, the first thing is I just wrote a comment. I said I'm very proud of you, Alation. I said I have a funny story, so I'm gonna tell it when I come up. So I remember when and I thought about this like 3 days in a row. I said I'm gonna call Alation and tell her, but I just got busy. I had to be maybe either 16 or 17 because I was in high school. But anyways, I remember praying a lot of nights. And I remember I prayed and I said, and I'm a kid myself. but I said, God, if you bless my cousin Alaisha, now this sounds funny now because I'm grown, but I said, God, if you bless my cousin Alaisha, I will pay my tithes for the rest of my life. And I was a kid. And I don't
That's
know.
how much she loved
I don't
you.
know. I
That's
don't
how
even.
much she loves you.
And the funny thing is, it's loud. Let me. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And the funny thing is, we're cousins, and we always knew that, but we wasn't even around each other like all the time. So I don't even know why. I don't even know why. But I remember praying that prayer a lot of times. But anyways, but I'm very proud of you, Alaisha. Okay, so my so mine is my like even when it's mostly my health. My even
Mhm.
when is even when I felt like okay, things in my life are all coming together and then they all started falling apart just as fast. So even when that happened, God made sure he placed people in my life strategically to make sure that I didn't give up. And when I say strategically, he made sure that like long ago when I was born, he made sure I was born to the right mother. Like he made sure I had the right parents. He made sure I had the right, family members. He made sure that God made sure that the right friends came into my life. Even though it's things that, just kind of happen over time, my even when I thought I had it all together and I realized at the end of the day, it's not my plan that's going to prevail. It's God's plan. So even when God's plan prevailed, I was still able to hold on. And even when I wasn't able to hold on, the people around me that God placed around me held on to me even when I let go. I hope that makes sense.
It makes
But
sense.
It does. Yes.
it's
Hmm.
it's not just um physical, like my physical health, my mental health as well. Cause I just struggle for so long, so many years. And I'm really just maybe in the past year getting to the point to where I can just talk about it freely. But I just had such a hard time and I still, I don't just say everything, but it wasn't just physical. I already had mental like depressive issues, but God, it was like all a part of the plan. My mental and my physical, I felt like deteriorated, and I saw no way. I saw no way. It might seem like it's simple to other people, but when you're the one going through it, you see no way. Because I've tried everything. Then what? I don't know what else to do. But that is when your circle, meaning those around you, that's when you will see the impact of that.
Hmm.
If I have a problem, I'm probably gonna call my mama.
Yeah.
But if say Alaisha have a problem, I'm older than her. I shouldn't give her immature advice. I should give her honest
Mm-hmm.
advice.
That's right. That's
I
right.
remember I remember one time we was talking and Laisha said she said something about, the nurses or something. I want to say she was complaining about the nurses.
Yes, I was. I remember that day because you called me. I was so mad because we had found out that the nurse, like, I think it was supposed to be across the board, the minimum wage was supposed to go up, and everybody was getting raises in the hospital, all the departments except for the medical assistants and the CNAs. And I was mad. And I
Yeah.
called you. I was so mad. I called you and I was like, well, I don't understand why we don't get anything because we work just as hard as them. And you said,
Hmm.
well, what you crying for? What you getting mad for? Them people went to school and they got their degree. I said, and she was right. You was right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got up and we graduated too.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I said, if you want to be treated like them, you need to go back to school, or else don't even complain. but that's also a part of like all of our, I think, you know, even wins. Uh, I think it's all of a part of all of ours because, and I say that because we all go through a period or a point in life where we really need people to be honest with us.
Yes.
And sometimes, and especially when we going through things, it's hard for our loved ones to tell us the truth sometimes because it hurt them. I know if it's somebody I love and I have to tell them the truth, sometimes I don't want to say it, but
I know. Yeah.
that's not that's not really caring about them if you know that they may be lacking, or well, you saying to other people the problem, but it seems like you the problem. Like if you know that, they are hindering themselves, it's hard to say it, and when you're the person, it's hard to hear. So that's why I say I feel like that's for everybody, because I think we all go through those phases. And
And
I'm gonna say
yeah.
one more thing. Try to see what time it is. And I'm gonna say one more thing with me getting my esthetician license.
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited about it. My purpose, or really my purpose found me, I would say. But even when I was working and I wasn't working, uh I get my health started acting up again. Even when everything kind of started going wrong with that, I still finished. And
That's right.
it's not all about my even when, and even though my everything, it's not all about that, the educational part, but that is a big thing for me because I got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and I really felt like this was almost harder. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I had so many more, struggles,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I.
Well, something that I think was very appropriate that what you said is, um, our family doesn't always want to shoot straight with us. They want to mollycoddle us and say, oh, don't think of that. Don't, it's okay. I'm gonna tell you, I have um, I have four sisters, and all varying degrees of success in life or whatever. One of my sisters has a grown daughter who has a daughter of her own, and two boys who live at home. And somebody in the family told her that she was raising her boys to be thugs because she expects nothing of them. They sit at home and play video games all day long. And she got very upset, and one of the people that she called to complain to was me. She called me and she said, "Can you believe I'm never going to speak to her again? She thinks I'm raising my boys to be criminals, and I'm raising my boys to be," and I just got silent, and I said, "You're more than welcome to hang up on me right now. Go ahead and do it, because I'm going to tell you I agree. You have taken no responsibility to teach those boys anything." And she did hang up on me, but I've never backed down from that. She hasn't changed. They haven't changed. But I'm never going to let them be starving on the street. If my nephews come to me and they are begging me for something to eat, I'm going to feed them. But I am not going to, uh, even when they come to me and they've done nothing in their life to be trained. I mean, they both dropped out of high school. Neither of them have got any kind of technical training because they, the long and short of it is that they have their grandparents on their father's side, their other side,
Mm-hmm.
are fairly wealthy, and the boys know that when their grandparents die, they're going to inherit all that money.
Yeah.
And so it's like they're just waiting around for these people to die instead of doing anything with their life. And
Yes.
even even when they're I will never say it's okay to have no goal, no ambition in life.
Yes.
Even if what you're going to do is cut grass, that's okay.
Yes.
Be the best get grass cutter that there is,
Yes.
even if, because you you as their mother, you are raising them to be thugs. And
Yeah.
you go ahead and hang up on me right now. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And she got so upset with me for saying that. She says, "Well, I just want my boys to have everything I didn't have when I was growing up." I said, "But you know what? Because of everything that you didn't have when you were growing up, don't you? Didn't you? I mean, that's how we got the work ethic that we have.
Yes.
You work for what you get,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You work for what you get.
Right.
And if you get it without working for it, you're not gonna. It's not
Mm-hmm.
nearly as valuable.
Right.
And so, even when, I mean, I'm not going to let them starve. I would never let my nephews starve. But don't come asking for a handout from me because I won't give it to you.
Right. I think
Um, yeah,
that's so much. That's so true, Jackie. What you're saying, because then you are making a person totally dependent on you, and that
hmm
is, I'll say that to both Alacia and Moretta, us being older women than them. If we sit back and see you going through something in life and not say, look, I'm not trying to be critical of you, but I don't want that there the direction you going in, you gonna fall.
right.
That's not gonna work out well. Even when you really taking a chance for them to get upset with you, you really
hmm
taking a chance of ruining relationships in family
hmm
units. Goes back to what you
hmm
saying too, Jackie. But I feel like as older women, a lot of times we're not being transparent with the younger women.
Right. That's
Even
true.
in relationships, look,
hmm
that thing might not be going like every day in a relationship. It's not gonna be like when you first met. You're gonna have some
That's
ups and
right.
downs and
That's right.
some mountaintops and some valleys. But you have to understand that when you go to an older woman and you present that to that older woman, she gonna tell you the truth.
That's
If
right.
if she really wants good for you,
If she
because
respects you.
she has to respect you. This is the one thing that I'm big on with even when is my integrity. Even when people
hmm
treating me unfair, even when
hmm
people treating me like I'm less than, even
hmm
when in my mind my integrity is not for sale. It's not for
hmm
sale. Even wins need to become a big part of everyone's life and sit
hmm
down and identify with that. Even when
hmm
people don't fully understand you, wanting your education, wanting to do that next thing in life, wanting your family to be okay, wanting your health to be okay, even when people don't agree, you still got to hang on to your best, even when. Your best, even when. A friend of mine who has passed away, Sister White, she told me one time we used to talk about our spouses, and she would say, well, Sister James, even when they say things, you can't take that out on your husband, even when. And she was so honest about it. And she said, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't tell you the truth. Because you're taking out on him what he's really not responsible for. You need to go to that house, sit down, talk with that man, That's your husband. That's not their husband. It
Mm-hmm.
goes back to people, even when they know it can put a ripple in their relationship with you, they step out
Mm-hmm.
and take that chance. Even when is a big thing to me. It's a big deal to me. It really
You
is.
know what? To me, one of the things like that's coming to my mind is like, even when, and you probably have all been in this situation. You're in the ladies' room at work. You're in one of the stalls, and a couple of other women come in, and they start talking, and they're talking about this woman who's she gets everything she wants, and she don't do nothing for it. She must be sleeping with the boss. And then you figure out they're talking about you.
Yes.
Even when they're talking about you, keep your head high,
Keep it
because
high.
you know
Mm-hmm.
that you have integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when it comes down to the true facts, that the true facts will speak for how hard you work. No one's giving you anything for nothing.
Retta raising
You
her
are.
hand. Jackie. Is
Oh,
she saying
oh,
something?
no, I think she's just saying hey, because she's got her down.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's
Oh,
saying because she got to go get Miracle.
go
Okay.
get a miracle.
So
Yeah.
she's telling us.
Yeah. So yeah.
But
But
we got ten
I
more
think
minutes, and so we can continue our conversation on even when. We got 10 more
on even
minutes.
when.
Okay,
Aisha,
ladies.
what about, have you found, since you have now gone and completed all these things, you've left medical, um, the medical assistant, you've left that job behind. Do you find that there are people who you knew when you were a medical assistant who are still medical assistants? Do you find, see when they're talking bad about you, that they naysay about you, and they want to pull you back down to their level? Do you find that, or do you have good friends who don't do that?
Well, you want to know? Honestly, I really don't care what they think.
And that is so
It, I
good.
don't, I don't, I don't really dwell on what they are saying, because to me, well, I'm walking through a new phase in my life,
Yeah.
and me worried about what people say about me, it's it's not paying my bills, it's not for me. And
Mm-hmm.
one
Mm-hmm.
thing that
She.
I talk that one thing that my pastor is he's talking about winning living a winning life anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's
Mm-hmm.
good.
And he's talking about how we can operate in our wholeness,
Okay.
operating as a operating in our healed and wholeness. And it's a difference when you respond from a healed and whole perspective versus
Mm-hmm.
an unhealed and whole perspective.
Yes.
Unhealed
So
and a
how
still
you
hurt.
respond to things is going to determine whether you're responding from a healed and whole perspective. So from a healed and a whole perspective, if you would have asked me this question if I was not in my heat, to do this, da, 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 but now that I'm speaking from my healed and whole perspective, I don't care. They can say what they
Yes.
want.
Yes.
That's so good.
That
That's so
is.
good. And I
I
feel like I'm that way
don't care
too,
what they're thinking about.
but it still
Mm-hmm.
stings to know that people, it stings when people say, well, she don't really deserve that.
Yeah.
But I don't dwell on it, but it stings. Why? So, but even when they say that about me,
Mm-hmm.
even when, and what I get, unfortunately, from a lot of people that I don't really know all that well anymore is, um, obviously she's not that sick because she's not dead yet. you
Yeah.
know, uh,
Yeah. People say
I
all
actually
kind of
had a
stuff.
former coworker, just on Facebook, uh, pretending that she's funny, but wasn't funny. She basically said, "Well, you just use the system all these years because obviously you aren't that sick because you're not dead yet." And I just laughed. And I said,
It's so unfair. That's so unfair.
and I didn't argue with her about it. I didn't argue with her about it. I just said, everyone's got the right to their own opinion. Have a nice life. Click.
Hey, that's the way.
Because even
I don't
when they
understand
say
why
this
people
thing,
run to Facebook.
oh, yeah. Why are you pasting
Facebook is
why are you pasting your dirty laundry?
Facebook is.
Go ahead.
What the thing is, people say that social media is negative. Social media is only negative if you allow
right.
it.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Well, and that's why
not, if you have a unfriend button, you have a delete button.
That's right.
You have a block button. If you want to keep your space positive, you can do that on Facebook as well.
And that's what I did.
It's only negative if you want it to be.
And that's what I did. I do not need. I don't need that.
So just block, delete.
Block, delete, unfriend. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Even when you talk to me like that, guess what? Guess what? But I'm also the kind of person, I never close the door on a friendship, even when that person has done me wrong, because I never close. Now they may never come back and be my close bosom buddy like they were before, but I believe that if God needs me to do something and help that person, if they need me to be the positive person in that person's life, I will be there for them. But once you've dissed me, once you've mistreated me, you will never have my full trust again.
Yeah.
But I will be there to give you encouragement when you need it. I will do that. But I will never, ever let myself be vulnerable to you.
Yes.
I have a really good friend right now that years ago, she did some things and said some things, and it hurt me very badly. But she showed back up in my life about 6 months ago. And the way she showed back up is because like once every 6 months or so, I would dial her phone number just to see if she would answer my call. And 6 months ago, after 5.5 years, she did.
That's good.
And I just said, how are you? And she told me, and then she started talking about, I'm so sorry, this. And I said, you don't need to say any of that.
Yeah.
You don't need to say any of that because that's the past.
Yeah.
We can't undo what was said. We can't undo what was done. We just move forward.
Gotta move
And
forward.
if you want to move forward and be my friend as I want to be your friend, just remember that I don't take crap.
Yes.
So
yes.
even when I never burn, I try hard not to ever burn a bridge.
Yeah.
Because I want to be where God wants me to be.
That's right.
And he might want me on that bridge.
That's right.
I don't know.
We have 4 minutes left. And so, what did Shirley have anything to say, Jackie, before we go
Shirley,
off?
do you want to add something?
I have this friend. I used to keep her kids. She's a member of the church.
Uh-huh.
And the elder had found her and gave her her number, and I'd be calling her. She never called, answered the phone or nothing.
Really?
Something wrong? Do y'all think I should keep on calling?
I would keep on calling her, Shirley,
Yeah.
until the day God tells you not to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you know her name Kizzy.
I know Kizzy. I know who you're talking about. I would keep on calling her until the day God tells you to stop.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Because
right.
you never know
That's
when
right.
you are the one, when you are going to be hurt, even when I didn't answer her phone calls. Even when.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be where God wants you to be.
That's right. That's right.
And that's why I try hard. I'm not going to say I've never burned a bridge, but I try hard not to.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
I call all my friends and see how they done. I had to call them in the church to call the sisters and see what they need and get back with the bishop and let the bishop know.
Shirley calls me every day to make sure I'm doing okay.
that's a
every
blessing.
day.
That's a blessing.
And it is
She's
a blessing.
One of my granddaughter's godmother.
Yeah, one of her granddaughters. I'm one of her granddaughter's godmother,
Yeah,
who is 22 years old now. How could that be?
She's 21.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, she's 21.
She's 21.
Juanita.
Juanita. But yeah, but I say be be where you can be until God tells you it's okay to stop.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight, joining in on this conversation of even when. Y'all have put some wonderful information out there, but the dialogue is what's so beautiful, because it don't matter how many people you have, is making sure that the moment counts. That's what matters. This moment counts, because it will post to YouTube and people will get a chance to see what that even win really means in different people's lives, and they will get to think about their even win. Even win. So again, thank you ladies for coming on. You know, we do this hot topics every other Friday, so we will be talking about, I want to talk about voting. I want to talk about women voters. October 24th is the first day of early voting. Jackie, you've been putting a lot of historical information out there on your podcast, Jacqueline's Life Well Lived. Thank you for that. Keep sharing that to my Facebook page, because we need that. So the next hot topic is going to be, why would women not vote? Why would women not vote? That's the hot topic that we're going to be talking about in the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay? Jackie, you was going to say something?
No, I just wanted to tell
Aisha.
I am so impressed with you, Aisha. I'm very impressed. Aisha, I'm impressed that you missed a chance, but you opened your heart and your mind and your might and your spirit for when that chance came again. Even when I'm impressed.
Yes.
And you've got children, and you just have moved forward.
Yes.
I love to see an example like you.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
And I hope that you don't mind that I'll be saying, Electra's niece, we need to look at her and see that what kind of example she can set for the young women today.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that.
Yes.
I felt in my heart.
Yes. Alicia, you have a minute. You got something you want to say before we go off?
I just want to encourage all of the women in my generation. Well, the woman never says her age, but I'm 34. So just never give up. No matter how many times you fall, you still have a million one reasons to get back up. Don't let anything stop you, and start living and responding in a healed and whole way, and you'll get further than you think.
Yeah.
All right. We thank you, viewers, for coming on and joining us on tonight, and we will see you in 2 weeks. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Recording stopped.